네, 정말 많은 분들이
Welcome to
기대하셨던
2020
젠지와 한화생명의 경기
LCK Spring Split.
함께했습니다.
Gen.G versus Hanwha live. It was not as close as we all expected.
저는 이제 개인적으로 뱀픽을
So speaking
끝나고
of the
나서
draft,
승리 조건이 양 팀에게
well,
있다고
both
생각을
teams
하는데 저는
had
이번
a
경기를
bit of
보면서
a lot
하나가
of
어떻게
conditions to
이기지라는
win.
생각이 들었어요.
However, for
왜냐하면
Hanwha Life
젠지
Esports
선수들에게
at the
제가
same time,
기본적으로 주면
it
안
was
될
not
첫 번째
that
미드
easy
주도권, 두
because
번째
they
크리드
gave
선수의 초반
Gen.G
약간 정글 간의
mid lane
매치업, 이걸 두
priority
개를
and
다
also
줬어요.
winning
그리고
jungle matchup.
하지도 못하고 그냥 초반에 다
And
말리고
they did not
말리면서
pull off
첫 나오는
any
게 약간
special
느껴지네요.
plays in the early phase, and they just lost the game. But
But
Hanwha is always trying to show a lot of attempts and also show very unique color. However, whenever they lose, they actually find the synergy in their comp. But they're way to be caught with their own comp. They actually fail to pay attention to the opponent's composition as well. So Karthus was not a very promising pick in this comp.
네, 많은 분들이 뱀픽 끝나고 나서 비슷한 생각을 하셨겠고요. 그리고 초반 라인부터
So we have to watch how well Gen.G capitalized on some of the very small but still critical parts of the game. So watch how BDD plays this mind game. After he pushes the minion wave, Zoe shows them intentionally rotating to the bot side. This is a gesture of roaming, so with this pressure of the opponent mid laner, well, even though Vista and Luhans were pushing lane and had the priority, they had to back. So Vista Luhans had to be very defensive. They had to stay behind the wave with this forced positioning.
약간 이제 심화 과정으로 들어가
But rather Zoe just placed the ward in the blue buff, and this was converted to the very easy Karthus kill. So after Karthus cleared out the red side jungle, he had to come over here. But Gen.G players, they read his jungle path as a book, so they were able to pick him up in the very early phase, interrupting his scaling.
네, 클리드 선수 진짜
So that was a very perfect setup coming out of Gen.G.
끌어내는 그 플레이까지 진짜 감탄만 나옵니다. 자, 그리고 계속해서 초반에
And
젠지의
moving on,
득점이 이어졌죠.
There was a very good team fight on the side of Gen.G. So Rumble, watch how he moves for this roaming play. So he stays behind the wall outside of the red team vision, and he waits till the vision is completely off. And also BDD also pushes lane and then does not really enter the brush. He also walks behind, he walks back to the turret and stayed back of the wall. So they were giving the limited vision as possible to Hanwha Life Esports players, so they were forcing them to give a pressure and make them open fight when they do not want to. So they put Hanwha Life in a position where they are forced to make any action, but Gen.G already had everything in their list, on their list, so they were able to go into it really strong. So it was definitely Gen.G's very easy game number one, so let's check out who is the player of the game.
네, 첫 번째 세트 POG는
Clid
선수.
with a deathless game on J4. The early game setup on J4 was really critical for Haru. So it was really important for them to shut down Haru as early as possible and interrupting him from scaling enough. And Clid pulled it off really well at 3 or 4 minute mark of the game. Well, in this current patch, actually, Karthus is a really strong and viable pick. Sometimes people even blind pick Karthus in jungle. However, Clid was really smart going into this champ. And another point in the draft was that Ruler on Azriel. Because Ruler has more experience and more skill than AD carries, well, he was able to put a lot of pressure on the opponent. So it was a very clean win coming out of Gen.G. So this POG was going to mid and jungle. So let's check out who will pop off in game number 2.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Spring 2020. Thank you, G-Sun, once again for the translation of the Analyst Desk, and congratulations to Clid for his Player of the Game award. That was, in fact, both LS and I's choice, so nicely done, everybody else, on your decision-making. That being said, BDD played really, really well. Ruler also played very well. In fact, the entire team played pretty well. So we'll see whether Gen.G is going to stay on form moving into Game 2, or whether Hanwha Life are going to wake up and actually find themselves some better item picks and some better drafts for this next one.
Really so sure. So, I actually had just tweeted out that I no longer believe that Hanwha Life knows how to draft, but rather they arrive at winning drafts sometimes with
the accidental
really
draft.
good champions.
Yeah.
They're picking good champions. It's the order in which they pick them, the timings inside of the draft that they do it, and then how they end up pairing. But that was a disaster. That was a hot mess.
Yeah, and also what you're picking them into as well, because the laning phases for all of the Hanwha lanes just didn't work, and then the jungle was completely outclassed as well. So you have to think about holistically what your composition is actually going to do running up against the specific opponents, and that is some of the difficulties behind some of these designer comps. But let's see what happens as we move into ban and pick for game number 2 between Hanwha Life and Gen.G. Now the blue side will be Hanwha Life. So we'll see whether they utilize this as a little bit of extra maneuverability when it comes to the champion picks, as Kalista Soraka both instantly banned. And
Ezreal finally going to be banned.
I like the Soraka Yuumi. I have a feeling that this will be our red side bans basically moving forward forever.
Yeah.
There's Zoe and Ezreal both taken away. Hanwha Life just did not like that combo whatsoever. Gen.G will have to think of a different plan. Aphelios is still available. Gen.G could ban it away here if they would like to. Or the Ornn could be taken off the board.
I think Ornn or Aphelios.
Oh wait, they're gonna trade. So it will be Ornn, able to be picked up as J4 was taken off the board. And Ornn and Set both picked up in the first round for Gen.G.
That's really no. Mort doesn't counter either one. I'm honest. I'm in the death realm.
Yeah.
Right now, Atlas. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's a great choice.
What is going on? They're gonna lock him in.
Yep, they are. That is Mordekaiser on purpose. So I don't know what more I want to talk about. That is Lee Sin going to be picked away from Clid.
Pass me the holy water.
Yeah, we
brought it
need
today.
to do some sprinkling.
I'm gonna need to bathe in it in between series. Is what's gonna happen.
Well, Misfortune just going to take the next cab off the rank by the looks of things here for Ruler. A few other options there. They could have gone for Azaya, but if they pick that, then the Rakan will get easily banned away, so unable to complete the Lovers Duo. So the Misfortune definitely a more consistent pickup here for Gen.G. Not really showing too much other than the fact that I guess their 2 solo lanes have been shown face up, but Ornn can be support, Set can be top or mid. They still have some flexibility.
We mentioned, or Lahen's actually mentioned the willingness to have Cube go support and then he would go top, and so maybe we could see a Singed come out here against Set, but because Set also has the ability to just be flexed into mid lane, makes that extremely difficult
you can't
for us to imagine. As Gragas is now going to be banned away by Hanwha Life, and honestly, this B1 through 3 for Hanwha Life compared to Gen.G's R1 through R3, Gen.G are just sitting pretty right now in this first phase, as second ban phase about to complete. The Brime ban is a little surprising because you
just
could
denying the Ornn issue.
You can just go jungler on R4 and then counter pick on R5.
Well, talking about junglers, there is Olaf still available, but otherwise it has been pinched quite a lot, with 3 being banned, 1 being picked. Sejuani still up, of course, has been buffed a little bit on this patch, but Rek'Sai was still there as well. She slipped my mind, I apologize. Rek'Sai, so she will be picked up, taken away, and fighting into the Lee Sin. Not too bad for the Rek'Sai.
I think we're going to see another mage support And this is what I really like. So you have a lot of physical damage on the set as well as the Rek'Sai, as well as true damage on the set, so it makes it difficult to itemize as is. Cassiopeia, though, coming in blind. And so in a spot like this, things get a little bit bizarre, but you notice everyone on Hanwha Life is mostly short range. So the really hard-hitting mage supports like Zyra end up becoming really good, or like Vel'Koz.
Yeah. It's going to be Taric locked away here, so we've got Aphelios Taric on the bottom side of the map here. Lehen's branching out a little bit more.
Again.
Yeah, you could rumble again.
They might just rumble. It's not quite as effective here.
But Azir is going to be locked in, so we've got support on, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Okay.
At least I think that's what it means. That's what it means, right? That's what.
Yeah, that's an interesting pivot.
So let's check out Azir's new wall. You know, a couple of extra soldiers in there.
Support set.
Could be a thing. It's not going to be a thing. Come on.
I can't imagine it being a thing.
What would support set do?
Well, support set does he maxes W and tries to build one item, and then superplex and E. It's real.
Is it real?
Yeah, it's over past 20 seconds.
I guess so. I might just quickly do a little bit of digging to see what Life has been doing
So
in
you
solo
can go
queue.
full tank support set with CDR
Life is
items.
rank 8, by the way, and has played a couple of games of support set.
Well, do we know if that's support set or?
Well, that's a good point. Let me go down. Yep, that's support set.
Yeah. Okay, so it's support set with pure tank items. And so that's a really nice pivot
That's really
by
cute.
Gen.G.
And with an MF lane, MF is largely self-sufficient. She can control a lane herself. So you can have room for some of these more unorthodox supports that you already saw in the Rumble. Of course, that was paired with an Ezreal, but a similar school of thought can apply. And now, this is a Gen.G squad with crazy teamfight ability and maneuverability around these fights as well.
Yeah. And this is just really crazy to look at. This is yet again. It just feels like Gen.G have massacred Hanwha Life in the draft phase.
Still, we'll have to see how it plays out, because I feel like, as far as the lane matchups are concerned, this is a better news story for Hanwha Life this time around. And Haru will be able to get a bit more agency in the jungle in the early few levels, unless Clid is able just to fire through his jungle. Gathering Storm taken by Tempt as well. In fact, no one taking the Forbidden Scorch. See, Ruler's got Gathering Storm on the other side. So
Electrocute.
Nice.
On the Azir is also a bit interesting, and so that'll obviously give BDD more options inside of the laning phase for Poke, as he's also taking heal, not teleport.
And Minion Dematerializer to make sure that he can keep the wave shoved.
Yeah,
against
that's
the
very
Cassio.
surprising.
Of course, Azir was picked into Cassio, and Miasma can really ruin Azir's day.
Yes.
So we'll see how
if you're in range,
how BDD is actually going to be able to play around having that dash stopped. As he's got a bunch of soldiers in here, and he will just continue. He will just begin by shoving this wave relentlessly.
Well, so far down here in bot lane, let's see what type of stuff ends up happening. Now, can't see Life's ability yet. He hasn't taken damage, so we can't see if he has the crit.
I would imagine Facebreaker would be what you'd want to be using most of the time, I guess.
Yeah, but I guess if you're getting shoved in, you just take the W.
Yeah.
As no autos. Life and Ruler seem like they're on different universes with whatever's happening. And so yeah, it is going to be the W. True damage, procced.
Hurts a lot. So we're looking for level 2, starting off a bit of a fight here.
I really like the Observer, giving us a bit of time down there in bot lane, letting us see.
Yeah. Always worth it when new bottom lanes like this have happened, and so far in the LCK we haven't even seen the Taric set either, as Life straight up misses that one. That's not what you want, but that was a Q going to Narnia there from Vista. Shout out to our boy Ejim, that should be here next week, maybe, we'll see. Who knows, visas are really hard to get, as it turns out. It took me until March before I got to the LCK after being hired in November.
Okay, well, yeah, that's not what I like to hear, Atlas. That's
Just saying, it ain't Jim's fault. I've seen this one before as Life comes in, and so does Clid. Gets a flash, and Lahen's maybe a little bit late on that one as the Facebreaker was the second pickup, and Life throws out the Haymaker and gives the kill over to Ruler. Clid, he can even take his tunnel back if he would like to, but now Vista finds himself alone in this lane.
And this is a really good early start here for Gen.G. You can see that Rascal not even getting threatened at all up here in top lane on this Ornn. He ends up CSing perfectly. He'll find himself ahead of the Mordekaiser. And Ruler and Life just doing really good. They'll be able to pile up this wave, wait for the next wave to arrive, and then try to hard crash it. Clid looking for more action.
Yeah, might actually be able to get into Haru's jungle here towards the bottom side, but decides against it. He's just going to go over to his blue, take the Gromp, head over to his Raptors, and then continue pushing further forward as we have a look at this gank once again.
We see what's ends up happening. Vista and Lahen, they're not achieving anything on this wave. They're not trading against the opponent. They really can't. The next minion wave's about to reinforce. And so if you ask yourself the question, what are they trying to do? Because they're not trying to crash and get played. They're not trying to poke. They're not trying to trade. All of the setup doesn't really make a lot of sense. We got a heavy trade.
Yeah, we're going to be able to find it here as Haru jumps on in, but Life got the best possible Facebreaker on the two bottom laners, and that is going to dissuade any sort of aggression. Support set's actually working out pretty well so far.
Yeah. He'll be able to go full tank, as we mentioned earlier. And Stone Plate's a pretty nice item. And then also, because true damage can't be stopped.
Yeah.
That is a nice little combo.
Lid's also going to be able to sneak into this brush. Didn't even utilize the alcove in order to do so. It's
Life
a
has
decent
flash.
double up. Oh, Facebreaker doesn't find the mark there as Life might just be baiting. Throws out the Haymaker, and in goes Clid. Looks for Vista, gets the knock-up. Dazzle's going to stun Clid. Is now able to get a three-man stun. Clid might actually have to get out of there, but no. Not going to fall just yet. Does, in fact, escape.
So, Facebreaker's on cooldown, and all that they had to do was wait for it. And then with Life having flash available, it would be a guaranteed kill.
Do you know if you can Facebreaker flash, or whether you have to flash
Facebreaker. Okay. So, a little bit surprising.
Oh, man. The Dongjun Tarek situation, once again, reminding us. Started over back in the OGN days, where he actually did the cosplay. It was beautiful.
Well, wouldn't you say that it's marvelous or fabulous?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that would be a lot better.
Outrageous.
As Rascal is completely fine. Mordekaiser has to be really careful. He's actually in lethal range. Okay, he's still in lethal range. Now, does Rascal know that he's in lethal range? I don't know. Doesn't look like he actually knows.
He just Searing Charged out, so that would say no.
So right now, Cuvee, because of his HP value, if Rascal knows about the Ornn combo, you end up doing the Q. Now on Mordekaiser, there's a bit of a mix-up. You do the Q and then you W so that Mordekaiser can't respawn Death Realm, because he won't be able to bring you in there. So you Q, R, W immediately, Mord can't respawn Death Realm, and then you E, knock him up, chain the knockups together, you'll end up killing him without Mordekaiser being able to respond. And it doesn't seem like a lot of people actually know about it, but it creates such insane pressure in lane for Ornn.
Well, see whether he can figure that one out as we get a decent stun there. Onto Life, Gravitum really helping Vista out here in this lane, but he has used it up. Severum Crescendum now armed for the Aphelios. Gonna have to be fighting very short range. Does certainly help out with Tarek as far as getting those heals available and things like that. However, not great up against the set, who really does want you up close and personal. Haru really desperately trying to impact this lane. There's not a lot of vision available here towards the bottom side, and we'll see whether Gen.G do play overly aggressively. Bastion target, of course, is going to be Vista, so he's going to get a bunch of that health back. As Clid comes in, clears out a ward. Haru finds him with a Q, actually dives straight in. As Clid actually has his tunnel interrupted, I think by the dragon, which was quite odd.
And
Kick not used just yet, as the Facebreaker interaction was a very strange one, as Ruler sees the control ward. It isn't what he wants to be doing here, but is able to use the Blast Cone. Gets himself to safety. Now Hanwha Life are thinking about heading towards this trade. Death Realm has been used topside. Rascal gets obliterated. Ornhorn, wrong direction. Ain't great news, but it looks like Cuve's just dead anyway. Okay.
That was Cuve initiating the trade, handshaking it, and saying, yeah, I'm sure I want to do this.
And then never
As
flashing
the,
or anything.
As the bungee cord that was about to...
Oh, the
okay.
answering flash from BDD, so beautiful. Nothing that Tempt could do. And it's going to be flash for flash, but a kill over to BDD there in the mid lane. That's why I picked the Azir. He's just real damn good at it.
Well, he's going to have the CS advantage now. Tempt will have teleport, going to be able to get back into the lane as Clid now...
This is Conqueror Rek'Sai, so I thought that with Haru engaging, it was going to be really dangerous, given the fact that if you take Hail of Blades, you die in one rotation at about that level on the Lee Sin, but not to be the case, a little bit more of a Biffo version.
So bizarre.
It's okay. Now Rascal throws out the Ornhorn and then finds Cuve.
Wow.
He said what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
Yeah, amen.
This was Cuve saying, I want to take this trade, and immediately after we just see this. And this is a mechanical outplay
So good.
by BDD, Clid being there, perfect alignment for the knockup, but honestly, I really can't get over that top lane thing. That was
perplexing to say the least.
it's like you're going bungee jumping, and then you
Yeah.
have the cord attached to you, but you see it's not attached to anything else, and you're like, yeah, I still want to go over the ledge.
Yeah. No. You saying I don't have the courage?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Can't
Cuve,
jump
yes,
over fast enough.
I get it, you know, there's it's testosterone and stuff that happens, you know, making you want to fight, but that was not when you wanted to do it.
Think I'm not alpha enough?
Yeah, exactly. You think I wouldn't do it? I too like to play dangerously.
This is like that Key and Peele skit, the gullible prison guard.
Oh yeah,
Did you
yeah,
see that one yet?
Yeah.
Oh, that one's good. I think I won't let you out of here.
Oh my god.
Oh, jeez. Well,
so hopefully Cuve can tidy that one up, but right now the lane is over for him.
I mean,
After
the lane
losing that,
has
it
been
was
over. More
yeah, no, but
doesn't
it's
beat
real.
War.
It's real big over now.
I can't get over it. So I'm watching every single region, although I watch only about a third of LEC.
Yeah.
But I'm watching every LCS game, every LCK, and it's just so bizarre. The amount of players that are picking Mord into Ornn, as well as picking Mord into Set. And it's like,
The Mord into Set is really strange.
do you not realize that he loses both of these matchups, nor does he outscale them?
And they're not actually using the Mord to try and guarantee neutral objectives either, which is what
Right,
Mordekaiser
right.
is so incredibly good at. Like, it's not like they're picking the Mordekaiser in order to achieve a higher purpose.
Very confusing.
That's an easy smite there from Haru. Just bring it into the rush next time, boys. A little bit of a misplay on Clid's part.
BDD doesn't actually have a mana item, and so will be a little bit more difficult.
Well, that's not difficult at all as Tempt just yells into nowhere. Haru now trying to find the kill onto Clid. He will do so, but now BDD has the Sand Soldiers set up. Fair bit of damage there. If he gets out of the way of some Qs, he will be all right, as Conquering Sands will be back off cooldown pretty soon, but Haru has made it to safety. 1-for-1 trade there in the mid lane. More kills for BDD.
And he did the play that he did so that Clid could not respond with his ultimate.
Yeah, actually,
And so-
that's still off cooldown.
Yeah.
Like it a lot. Get the kick out first.
Rascal being extremely reserved in this Ornn versus Mord matchup, especially when the Lee Sin was just shown. Cuve is at 1,050 right now. Almost actually in lethal. Take a look at this again. Another perfect setup.
Yeah, it
by
was really
BDD.
beautifully done.
And then right there, flash so that Rek'Sai can't get the burrow in the tunnel.
나 가는 중. 이거 버텨봐.
I'm going.
괜찮긴 해.
It's okay. I don't know if I'd agree with that. I think your mid laner dying and then the enemy mid getting all the solo XP on the minion wave is a pretty bad thing.
Well, he comes back. He's almost completed the Nash's Tooth, has BDD. And Rascal's already almost taken that turret plate. Now Haru's going to move into this lane. He's got a Rift Herald just set up, and they want to use it before those plates get taken down. The Death Realm is where Rascal resides and will flash eventually. The Q's going to miss, and Rascal's going to survive. He has teleport available, but HLE.
Red doesn't kill all the minions.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
Well,
a big yikes.
That's a me.
Yeah.
That's
Don't want to be doing it that way. It's poker in the eye. Poker in the eye. There we go.
how do you know that's her eye?
Because that's what it's called.
That's what it's called, but how do you know that's the eye? What if
Oh, I don't know. There's
Yeah.
Rascal gonna get out, searing charge and a kick to get him on his way. About 100 health there as Clid comes on into the lane as well, but isn't gonna be able to find any kills. But Rascal should be able to survive for the moment. Root there onto it. Ruler, get my 80 carries mixed up. No, I'm not. He's just rooted. Okay, that's how that works.
Do you know what that looked like? That looked like at you ever go to a water park and you come
Yeah.
off the water slide
Yeah.
and you're sort of like in the air, but
And then you do the bump,
Yeah,
bump, bumps.
yeah.
That was a little bit like that,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
that was pretty nice. That was water parkour.
I like it.
As okay, well, Leandre Storman completed for Cuve.
There's a pretty good water park here in Korea. You should go sometime.
I've never been
Really?
to the I've never been to Everland.
Yeah, it's Everland,
or,
right? I haven't been there either.
There's another one.
As
Lotte
in-
World.
Yeah,
right?
I've been to Lotte World.
Okay, I haven't been to either one. Surprisingly, there's also something at Jeju, I think.
Yeah, I assume so.
Yeah.
I haven't been to that one either. I went to Jeju, but
Oh, okay, yeah. You haven't been to many places, Atlas.
I haven't been to Japan.
But
and
you
I live in
claim
Korea.
to
I'm an
be
idiot.
from somewhere that just doesn't exist.
That's true.
So
I spent a lot of time in Australia, which isn't a real place. How can I assume that anywhere is real if I don't come from anywhere real?
yeah, I mean, we all know Summoner's Rift's a globe, and the Earth is flat.
No, it's not.
All right.
Runeterra is a disc. Summoner's Rift is something very different. It's Tempt once again puts his flash on cooldown. As he has to, Gen.G continue to have a well of control, but 1.4 thousand gold is nowhere near the lead that they had in game number 1 at 15 minutes. So hold your heads high, Hanwha Life. You've done better this time around. But it's an Infernal Soul. Everything's a bit on fire.
Yeah.
And that continues to be Hanwha Life's story.
They're staring it down in 10 minutes. It's going to end up coming up. So definitely a bit of a rough situation here if you are a Hanwha Life fan. And the other thing is that this Taric pick doesn't really do a whole lot because the disengage on the side of Gen.G is just so large.
Yeah,
So-
they have a lot of maneuverability, and they can have the agency to start off fights whenever
Yeah.
they would like. And also, they don't really rely on cooldowns that much. I mean, you'd have
Right,
to,
they have
you'd
so
have
much
to throw
sustained
the ult
damage.
as soon as you see an Ornhorn, right? But then you just move away, and
Yeah,
then you
and-
engage with BDD. You engage with life. You do what you want. As the Ornhorn does come down, that's a triple knock-up this time for Rascal. Nailed
got it? I don't
There's
know.
a suplex into the backline as we do have the ultimate to come out from Lehens. Keeps everyone alive as life goes golden. He will be the first casualty on Gen.G's side for this team fight as BDD does have to follow his Sand Soldiers out of that pit. And that is just a straight-up win for Hanwha.
Yeah, it's a very big win. And so they're going to get that Herald. They're going to be able to likely bring it into what I assume is going to be top lane so they can get the first turret of the game. As BDD there in mid lane, Nashor's to the first item on the Azir.
Didn't find a window to get
Yep.
his ultimate out as well, so BDD does still have that one available. Not really a good news story.
And it
Rift
feels
Herald
like
that you're talking about is used top lane.
we got pseudo caster cursed in the sense that the Taric ultimate came out, prevented Set's damage. Set was going to die anyway, regardless of what would happen with the ult. Kled making
Yeah.
his way top lane here, actually down in XP, at least then doing a much better job at farming.
What the Taric ult did is denied the Emperor's Divide from BDD though, because it wouldn't have done any damage, and then it would have been an Azir in there as well with a very low health set.
Take a look at
not
it
what you
one
want.
more time. As Azir not yet in the fight. And then right here, the Set ult comes out, but even if Azir goes in at that angle,
Yeah, you're not going to be able to find
you're
anything
not
to
gonna,
help out, right?
right. So, this is one of those Taric ults that doesn't do anything maybe in this instance.
Meanwhile,
but
Cube's
yeah,
dead.
Cube's dead again, so.
We don't need a replay of that one, guys. We
no, we
understand
really don't.
what happened.
Yeah, we get it.
He died. 2-0 now for both solo laners of Gen.G. The engage and the damage, both pretty much accounted for. Close to a 30 CS advantage here for Ruler, who's eyeing up that Molten Edge that will be available pretty soon. And it's pretty cookie cutter, as we said. Didn't
Yeah.
really need the replay. But there it is anyway, if you guys were curious. That's a Mordekaiser dying without too many options. Didn't
As
have
well-
Death Realm available.
As the top lane turret is also dying.
Yeah.
And so at this point of the game, it's a little bit less than a 2,000 gold lead for Gen.G, but their team composition is so much better at team fighting later.
They're looking at an Infernal Soul.
Yes.
They've had complete control over the Drakes so far this game. And Infernal Soul will be very, very good for this squad. Azir, so much consistent damage, and the Misfortune as well. And so buffing up both of those who can lay down a lot of DPS from a pretty safe range is going to be really, really scary. Heads up to anyone playing TFT at the moment. Azir, really strong champion.
Yeah,
at this point in time. Doesn't fit into a 6 Shadow comp, which is what everyone seems to be running, but otherwise, pretty good.
Well, Infernal Dragon can be up in 45 seconds. We'll see if Ornn can actually complete his other ornament for himself, as currently no one actually has an ornament for him to bestow.
Yeah.
As he's just waiting.
Yeah, he wants to complete his Forge Fire Cape. Will be coming in relatively soon. Vista not spotted by the Prey Seeker, but Tremor Sense is going to let Gen.G know exactly where the Aphelios is. 23 seconds, and Gen.G are so prepared for this Drake. And that's one of the fantastic things about having a Rek'Sai in your team. We often talk about Rek'Sai as this champion that does perform very well in the early stages, farms really quickly and all that sort of stuff, but Tremor Sense can be pivotal in these mid to late game skirmishes around these objectives like the Drake. Playing around this vision is a possibility. It's cleared back underground, able to spot everyone out as BDD a little bit out of the way, just clearing up this minion wave. Hanwha grouped as 5, Obliterate down onto Rascal, but Cuve's not going to be able to find anything else. Check out the damage numbers as this continues on. You can see over there as there's the Ornn. Moonlight Vigil down onto BDD and Life, and that is going to stop any sort of follow-up engage.
Took Clid into...
I think so as now. The ultimate comes out from Lehens. They look for the re-engage, but this is that disengage you were talking about. Emperor's Divide onto 4 people! An obliteration of Hanwha Life's team members. The third Drake comes in. BDD gets himself the MVP off one team fight. They're able to take it. In fact, LS just wrote it down on the sheet of paper as I was yelling and screaming. 5,000 gold now, the lead. Sun Turret now there as BDD just skating around the mid lane, real happy about his player of the game.
So, level 14, they're going to get the Infernal Dragon. They're going to raise the mid and mid-tier 2 turret, convert this into a Baron, and then off the back of this, they're all stockpiling so much gold.
Do you know what you call this? You call this taking an inch and taking a light year.
Yeah, this is, I'm not even
That's
sure
everything.
the speed at which Gen.G was just moving. It's called a parasec?
Parsec?
Parsec?
Yeah, parsec.
Yeah, there we go. Great.
Under 12, if you're talking about Beggars Canyon.
That is, so here's what ends up happening. Cube with, I have no idea what's going on.
Clid's in the Death Realm, okay?
Death Realmed Clid, a champion that he can't kill inside of the Death Realm for no reason. Targ Ultimate comes out. Now, I talked about this. We'll just back off because there's no real way for Hanwha Life to engage, and then Superman coming straight in.
And look at the size of that wall.
Yeah.
Isn't it fantastic now?
천천히 볼게 천천히 빼면서 나 이거 강 나오긴 한다
He said, I'm going in.
한 볼게
I'm gonna go for this.
Oh my god, it was so perfect. Just so perfect.
나이스 나이스
나이스 좋았어. 욕 먹고 바로
Azir.
욕 먹고 바로.
Eat Dragon and then go to Baron.
Yep. Nice,
As,
nice. Bit of a woo, and then Azir.
What?
It's exactly what I was thinking as well.
Whoa. Hold on, Atlas. Hold on.
Are we
Pass me the
rescinding?
holy water. Yeah. BDD had a 10-stack Dark Seal. At that point in time, should just always get Mage Eyes.
Oh yeah,
Because
absolutely.
the passive, you already have the passive granted. It's gonna scale you.
He also
so
built
well.
an Oblivion Orb instead.
What is going on?
Well, he's doing true damage to Mordekaiser, I think.
He doesn't have any magic
that
resistance.
might, you know what? You might be a little correct there. So I'm gonna dial back a little bit.
Chill out, just a little
So
bit.
when the enemy doesn't have any magic resistance, you get the 18 pen from the Sork Pen boots, the 15 pen from the Oblivion Orb. Sitting on the Oblivion Orb can be valuable, but I swear to you, something if he builds a blasting one into the book.
Hey, if you build it into a void staff, though, Gen.G is a genius. As Haru is not. Oh, he is! flashes over the wall as BDD gets completely outplayed by the young jungler from Hanwha's side. Clid is going to outplay Temp there off the back end. The Petrifying Gaze didn't work, but Vista takes a gigantic chunk of his health bar as now Cuve's fighting Rascal underneath the turret. The turret just not caring about this Ornn whatsoever. The Death Realm put onto Clid to avoid the goat that flew by, but Clid actually wants the fight. It's Cuve's Death Realm actually, as Clid dives on out with the tunnel as well. The Rascal puts up position. Looks like Ruler's trying to take down this turret. Despite BDD getting outplayed by Haru in such a beautiful way, it looks like Gen.G still will be able to raise this base. Great sidestep from Ruler, but isn't going to be enough. The answer is yes. That's called walking casually out of the way of your demise. Hanwha don't lose the bottom inhibitor, but they are lacking their middle one.
Yeah.
And they have lost basically everything else.
He is actually getting
This is
the Morello.
so sick.
Now see, this is the reason that BDD is on stage and I'm not. He's a psychic. He knew that if he bought the Magi's here, he was gonna die and lose all the stacks immediately. So
yeah, I'm keeping that tick there.
that is exactly what's going on right now.
This is Cube like, look at how much of a genius I am. Then he's wait. Oh, dang it. As in fact, Clid utilizing the Death's Grasp to his to help him as well. So that worked out. As BDD does have the blasting wand. Let's hope that this game is over before we find out exactly whether or not it is going to be the Void Staff or the Morellonomicon.
So here's the thing about Mordekaiser at this exact point in time. A similar situation actually just ended up appearing. So the math isn't totally right here, but you can bear with me.
Okay.
So Mordekaiser right now at his current level, or actually 2 levels in the future from now, he would need to do 3,300 damage before resistances in order to heal 500 with his Conqueror inside of a team fight. And then you'd reduce 40% of that. 40% of 500. One full tick of Leandre's is going to deal 160 to 180 before resistances. This isn't factoring in madness on Azir. So
Haru's dead.
You can do the math real easy and just
actually, to be perfectly honest, I don't mind Morellonomicon in this instance because Lehens is going to be healing, Tempt is going to be healing, Cube is going to be Wing, you know, like, there is actually healing available.
You get out.
No, I understand. Sometimes you have to call a spade, as that's a bullet time, and that's Lehens trying to blast cone his way out of there. Hanwha Life are getting corralled like cattle back to their own base, moving up the bottom lane as Life just sidesteps that Death Realm, and now there's not even their turret awaiting them, it's the Sun turret that's there available. Cube is the Bastion as the teleport flies forward. Life gets the Facebreaker onto Temp. Huge shield comes out as BDD is petrified, but it's not going to be enough. The heal comes out. Cube looks for Life, will be able to grab that kill, but that is all he is going to be able to get. And it's Aphelios and Lee Sin versus the world now for Hanwha.
And they should be able to actually push on and end the game here potentially, depending on what Vista and Haru end up doing.
Yeah, that's going to be the second inhibitor of the game taken down. Clid making a beeline to the bottom one that is still available. Looks like Gen.G want to be able to just shove this wave in though. We've got super creeps that are trying to deal with minions in the mid lane. They are going to be here very, very shortly. Speedity at half health. It looks like Gen.G just want to get rid of all of the inhibitors, go take themselves an Infernal Soul, and win this game with a 13,000 gold lead by about that stage, I would assume. His teleport's coming in for the flank here. Gen.G, they're not going to bite. Lehens out of position. Dazzle comes in, Gen.G, Ruler just pops it. Good night, Sweet Prince. Cube chunked to about half health with a couple of shots. And there we go, another flash from BDD. Tidies up the 80 carry. Now Tempt gets 3 shot by Ruler. That double up was insane. But they do get position. Facebreaker, that is going to be Ruler grabbing another one. The Rek'Sai deals with one off to the side, and Haru is now the man against the world. But the rest of Gen.G, they're just going to win the game.
And Hanwha Life, I mean, Haru, he's trying to run right now. He's trying to preserve his KDA. I mean, he tries to flash, ends up dying.
Yep, 7-1 and 5 on BDD. The Azir working out very well this game, and this will be the end at 27 minutes.
Yeah.
This is Gen.G coming
And
back
they
with
are
a vengeance after their loss to T1.
blazing to a 2-0 victory here.
It is only 6:30.
It is,
We've
yeah,
got an
we're
hour and a half
gonna
until the
have
start
a
of our
very
Dragon X versus T1 series.
long break.
It is
before
going to be a
the
very long
Dragon.
break, but do you know what? We need a long break to get ourselves prepared.
Oh, I need to go take a bath.
Yeah.
I think after that one. The
Yeah.
items really...
The items weren't great, but I don't think the second Morellonomicon was quite as bad as the first one in this series. And BDD still had a phenomenal game on the Azir. Felt like it was a really slow laning phase, and then he just decided to outplay everyone for a really long time. It was great to see. Hanwha Life, however, getting that upset over T1 is now looking even more perplexing.
Yeah.
After how hopeless they looked after T1 were able to dispatch Gen.G.
And again, I mean, we saw the similar issues plague them, and with champions like Soraka and Yuumi now going to be on the chopping block pretty consistently, they're not going to have these edges. Cube is looking lost in top lane.
Yeah.
Every single series that he's been playing. And honestly, I mean, Hanwha Life were sort of their own worst enemy before the game's even started today.
I don't know why the Mordekaiser priority was so incredibly high for them.
So they picked Mordekaiser into Ornn, and then when Gen.G showed Ornn's set R1, R2, not only did they pick Mordekaiser into either one, they also then paired a Cassiopeia.
Yeah.
Cassiopeia doesn't beat Set in mid lane. Set actually does pretty good against her.
Yep. And then it wasn't even set in the mid lane, and the Cassio had to deal with this Azir that popped off entirely.
Cassio can beat Set, but
And
Set is
also
pretty-
she can
yeah.
beat Azir as well, in a few instances.
Well,
Tempt didn't, but she can.
that was.
No, she can't? It's possible?
I think it's definitely Azir slated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it's going to go as far as who's going to pick up the player of the game. I thought the BDD was incredible in that one, despite purchasing the book that he should certainly not get. All of these players just really like the library, obviously. They just go and then they find that particular book and they just can't help but to check it out.
They will repent eventually.
Well, it's not the right book. Just not the right book. But also, Hanwha Life just not on the right pages of their books either, because it just was not the same Hanwha Life that we saw being so creative in Week 2. So we check out some of the highlights from this one. Clid once again starting things off very nicely. Life picking the support set, and at the very beginning of the game, being successful as I don't know whether we really want to see this again, to be honest.
Man.
As Rascal's like, oh, I'm going to pull my goat from beyond the Death Realm, and Cube's never going to know. And
I don't even know what that's like Goku's Nimbus Cloud?
Yeah.
That he can just call and summon. Or is it like Moltenor? Thor's hammer? How do you pronounce it?
Oh, Mjolnir.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it, but I don't really know. That was sick from Haru. Haru actually had like at least 2 really fantastic plays on the Lee Sin. Wasn't enough to get them to anywhere good, apart from this one moment where they were able to take a Rift Herald and get a kill. But otherwise, not too many signs of life from this Hanwha Life squad in Week 3.
And Gen.G, they're going to continue to coast on in the standings. Super clean here today. All around.
They've moved ahead of Dragon X, and it'll be based on what Dragon X does against SKT in our next match. But even if it's a 2-0 win for Dragon X, I think... wait, no. If it's 2-0 win for Dragon X, then Dragon X stay ahead because they'll still be undefeated. But
So-
a 1-2 loss
Gen.G
is still going to be Gen.G in the lead.
is still running the gauntlet. Dragon X and then immediately Afrika. And then after that...
And Dragon X is doing the same thing because they're T1 and then immediately Gen.G this week.
This is really the weeks of kings, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Here in the LCK.
We're going to have our top teams really trading some blows here to decide which one is actually going to be the best up against one another. So these highlights are going for a long way because BDD he made some sick plays this game.
Yeah.
He definitely did. That double up there on the Tempted Cube as well was pretty rude from Ruler. sometimes you just got to face breaker some people. As we have a look at the damage done, pretty large numbers there from the Azir. Somehow 16.6k, not too bad. And I've got one spoiler, half a spoiler here.
Yeah, go ahead.
The player of the game, one player of the game, 11 out of 12 votes.
Okay.
So we know who it is because we know who we voted for. But that is a lot of votes. And I actually
Not
think that
unanimous, though.
not unanimous is weird. I want to be able to see who actually was the outside vote. Because remember, they showed the votes when it was just me that didn't vote for Summit that one time. And I was very sad about it.
Apparently, Jungle. Clid got the
one extra one?
It's right there.
All right,
Right there.
it's on our screen. So BDD is going to pick that one up, understandably as well, with his extraordinary Emperor's Divide around that Baron, but then continue to make some sick plays, this being one of them.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? You know, that's what they said about Superman. But
Yeah, he's a
in
pigeon.
this instance, it is a bird.
Yeah.
Azir is, yeah. And he was pigeonholing them all game long.
Well and truly. As the Taric, it didn't work. This was where you're supposed to be able to turn around a team fight, and they didn't have any option. But that was Tempt flashing into his own demise.
And yeah. I mean, that was the end of the game.
It
that
was.
play right there.
Yep, that was where you voted for your player of the game,
That
and
is,
as
yeah.
it turned out,
Before it was
he
even
managed
over,
to win it. Yeah,
I started.
I was
marking
still
it down.
calling the team fight.
Yeah.
So there we go. But that was the game-winning moment. That was absolutely fantastic. Out of BDD, and now we've got an interview, I believe, between Clid and BDD, plus me and Kim up on stage with some beautiful translation from G-Sun. So in just a couple of moments, in fact right now,
네,
we'll
2대
throw
0
it over. So
승리로
take it away,
지난
G-Sun.
경기 아쉬움을 씻어냈습니다.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason with the interview translation, and Gen.G made a great comeback after the latest loss. So you are starting your win streak again. We made a lot of mistakes in the last game, and also T1 is a very strong team, so we expected the game would be really hard. So today we really wanted to work hard to get all the mistakes out of our way, and I'm just happy we managed to pull it off. PDD, I mean Hanwha Life Esports, is the opposite style of Gen.G, so what was the plan to go into such team? We just, thought every possible unexpected plays coming out of Hanwha, so we were really aware of those plays. So we could see you were really trying to play consistently and safely. And 10.3 patch, now junglers have more breeding looms, so do you really feel the difference? I haven't played a lot yet, so I might take more time. So yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see. Played game number 1. I mean, Gen.G got a very clean counter composition. So did the players agree with that? We all got the champions that we like or champions we prefer. So we were really confident going into that game, and also we got a very reliable comp overall. Especially you were really smart and intelligent in the early phase. Let's check out the replay together. So you sneaked into that rush and opened that fight. So who set it up and when? Well, I'm not really sure whether that was that sophisticated, but when we tried our Herald, I mean, we knew that they would be aware of that because we were so missing out of the map. So we knew that they would come in. And BDD, I mean, your performance on Azir was great, coming with a 10.3 patch buff. I don't really feel the difference coming into this patch, but I mean, these days there aren't every champions are here and there. I'm not sure which one is the best, so I just went with Azir. Tell us about the set support. I mean, not too detailed information, but how are you guys rating sets as a support champion? It might sound lame, but it's a good flex pick, so that's why we played it as a support. I mean, we saw people playing it in solo queue, so we wanted to adapt this in our game. So, moving on. we have this super toss montage moment. So how did you see that angle in the Drake team fight? Were you looking for that angle specifically, or? I mean, they had Tarek in their comp, so I was waiting till his ult goes down. You know, we had to go slowly, and as soon as he used his ult, I had the great angle to go in. So yeah, I calculated the timing for the Tarek ult, and then I went in for my engage. Like, I guess the teammates were feeling like getting a gift from Azir, right? So both games were so clean. 2-0 win. I think you guys don't even need a feedback after this match. And you will be facing DRX in your upcoming series this week. DRX is on a perfect win streak right now. How are you going to prepare for that match? DRX tries a lot of new picks, and they have a lot of rookies. Their performance is coming out of their young spirit, so we have to keep our eyes on it, and we also have to focus on our plays, getting rid of our mistakes. Cleaner than today, right? Yes. And BDD, would you like to add on to that? Well, today, our winning streak has ended, so I was a bit sad, but I'm happy that we were able to get this win, so I want to keep this momentum rolling, and we will get consecutive wins from now on. So it was a very phenomenal game coming out of Gen.G, and this will be the end of the interview with Clid, BDD from Gen.G, and I'm going to pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jisun, for the interview translation as usual, and great to hear from Clid and BDD. I think they were our last MVP interviews, or at least my last one when I was here. As we check out the standings and the results after that win, will be DragonX still in first place considering their 4-0 record. They are behind as far as points are concerned, though, against Gen.G. Gen.G, a few more very clean wins over their opponents, and DragonX certainly taking their time with a few of their victories, and I expect that to continue over this week when they face T1 after a very long break today, and then Gen.G in a couple of days' time on Friday. So that'll be really exciting to see whether DragonX can stand up to either of the two Titans that we saw clash in the last day of Week 2, not that long ago.
And so, DragonX versus T1 obviously going to be the climax of tonight's matchup. And honestly, I'm favoring DragonX.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I feel like after the recent excitement of DragonX, Carrier playing so well, Pyoshik as well, having phenomenal performances. It's hard not.
Faker.
Yeah, Chovy versus Faker. We've got Teddy versus Deft. It's a long break, but we'll see you afterwards anyway for a hype matchup.